Hi everyone, we're going to sketch a graph of this polynomial. First of all, we're going to determine our degree. This is not in standard form, so I'm really just going to add, this is x to the first power, and that would be x to the second. So you just add those two up, and you get 3. And what we need to know is that this number is odd, and we also need to know our lead coefficient is positive. We're going to get back to end behavior in just a minute. Now, your Y-intercept is when x is 0. So plug in 0. And that's just going to be 0. And our zeros are when y is 0. So when this is 0, we'll have a 0 here. And this one would be -5. So we have 0, 0. And that's multiplicity of 1. And for this piece, we have -5, 0, and that's multiplicity of 2. All right, maximum turning points. Our n is 3, so we have 3 minus 1, at most 2 turning points. And also we're going to determine where our intervals are negative and positive. And we're going to do that after we graph. So let's go back to our end behavior. And let's talk about that. So just know it's odd and positive. So odd and positive is in this area right here. So that's how your end behavior goes. In fact, our degree was 3. So it resembles this kind of a curve. And our end behavior just tells us which quadrant are we going to start in. Graphing from left to right, we're starting in quadrant 3 and ending in quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is positive, positive. Oops, what's going on here? All right, quadrant 3, it's negative, negative. So all end behavior tells us is x gets larger and larger from 0, so does my y values. They get larger and larger. All right, so that's why we're in quadrant 1. As x gets smaller and smaller values from 0, my y values will get smaller and smaller. That's why we're in this piece is in quadrant 3. So we know when we graph this, we're going to start in quadrant 3 and end in quadrant 1. So let's plot our zeros. We have 0, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The -5 has a multiplicity of 2. So what's going to happen is you go up to -5 here. Since this is an even number, you can't cross. So you make a U-turn and come back. We're not going to worry about our min and max here because the video is not about that. Go back to 0. Now 0 here has a multiplicity of 1. So you go back and there you go. There's your graph. Something like that. And the last thing we need to do here is determine our intervals where our y is above this y equals 0, and also where our y is below this 0, y equals 0 here. So where our f of x is positive is right here from 0 to infinity. You're looking at your x's, 0 to infinity. Where is it negative? Well, or falls below the y equals 0 right in here. That's below this red line. So that's going to be f of x is negative from negative infinity to 0. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.